Welcome, everybody, to Chicagoland Speedway for the Firestone 300. 26 cars lined up, ready to get to racing here this afternoon. What has been a frantic doubleheader of racing already. The Challenger Series race cut short last night, following a series of accidents, one the most serious involving that of Bianca Lucero, the two-time Atlantic champion, who went up and over in a violent crash last night. Health concerns were rampant last night. All drivers have been cleared and released following advanced medical care and supervision, including that of Bianca Lucero. Lucero had to be pulled from her car with assistance from medical crews last night after spending some time in a nearby facility in Chicago. Bianca Lucero cleared and released early this morning. So positive news all around from the Challenger Series race last night. The World Series field, overall, feel like that's an anomaly. Sun is shining. Track temperature is up. Everything as we expected Chicagoland to be is set to be this way today. Smaller car count as well, 26 cars in the World Series field, a lot more manageable on the World Series side of things, and we're going to see a different race as a result of that. It is Alicia Kovalkiewicz on the front row for this race. Kovalkiewicz's first oval win came here at Chicagoland last year. She's going to try to defend that. Championship lead, closer than ever entering this race. It could be split wide open here today. Evangeline Porter on the front row. Wyatt Jones all the way down in row 12 today. But it's a 2-point gap going in with 4 races to go. So, who's going to make the right moves here in Joliet? Kovalkiewicz and Porter row 1, Siri Lundqvist and Sakura Ishibashi in row 2. So Arrowhead Racing once again picking up the pace as far as qualifying is concerned. Cat Devil Racing also trying to find something here late. They're going to need it. Only 2 other cars were able to qualify yesterday. Hazel Leon had a penalty for an engine failure in the previous race. We'll start last today. Nicole Lechty and Andrew Draco sit in row number 3. Draco trying to get himself back on track here. Slipped out of the top 15 in points last time out. Trying to get himself back in. Nicole Lechty, the championship defense campaign begins to slip further and further and further. 104 points out from the championship lead right now. You need to gain some significant points to make that a realistic possibility. With 4 races to go, not impossible, but becoming more and more difficult to manage. Simona Leroux, her Highlight Racing teammate, starts in row 4 alongside Astrid Crane. Leroux got into the top 15 last time out. We'll try to add on to everything that we've seen here so far, given the circumstances here today. Elise Alexander and Natalia Velisevich, they sit in row 5. What has largely been a disappointing season for Velisevich has had silver linings. Velisevich, 2-time race winner this season, including winning at Monaco earlier this year. So Velisevich, top 10 start, could get back into winning ways here on an oval. Both her wins have become road courses, both at Monaco and at Denver. Joliet Takani alongside Kage Kobayashi, one of their best qualifying efforts, both of them, as they start in row 6. It is Catherine Hart and Cameron Jackson in row 7 behind them. Thomas Rogers and Mateus Michelin, they start in row number 8. Row 9, Mia Valdez and Shufan Zhang. Row 10, your top 20, BK Glover and Esther Hofson. And then you have Stephanie Porter-Kelly, Artyom Kozlov, Wyatt Jones, Marcus Petrovich, Anastasius von Sonen, and Hazel Leon to round out this field.
Drivers, start your engines!
26 cars And trouble. That's the pole sitter. Getting some work done immediately. Wow. That is the pole sitter giving up starting position here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That moves. They're going to give the 96 a chance to rejoin. That's not going to happen. Oh my goodness. This is bad. I think everyone caught off guard by how this all took place. Green flag flies. Here we go. One of the most unusual starts we've seen. Basically a single file start. It's Porter on pole position. And away we go here for the Firestone 300 after Kovalevich had to retire, and Porter coming down pit lane as well. Both the front row in trouble. And Kovalevich is officially out, not taking the start here. So that hands the lead off to Sakura Ishibashi to start this race. Porter in service. So the front row in huge trouble here. It is Ishibashi now up front. Porter a lap down at least. Kovalkevich's race doesn't even start. She'll score no points today. And that is all before we got to the green flag. Ishibashi leading the way. Draco and Crane battling it out for second place. There's Natalia Velisevich and Kage Kobayashi, due to the strangeness of this race start, holding right now in the top 5 ahead of Matthias Michelin there. Michelin in the number 99, sitting in a different look here at Chicagoland, donning the yellow and blue here in Joliet. Cameron Jackson in that Napa Auto Parts 19, sitting in 7th. Then it's Shufan Zhang trying to stay ahead of both Hazel Leon and Artyom Kozlov. Leon on the outside lane, getting around the Kozlov there for 9th. Hobson already outside the top 10, being hounded. So some of those cars that were on the inside lane, or supposed to be on the inside lane on the start. Front of the field, Draco has taken the lead over. From Ishibashi, Ishibashi down to 3rd, Crane up to 2nd. Porter trying to find a way around Von Sonnen, now a lap down and change. Wyatt Jones struggling as well, battling right now with the 60. That's Steffi Porter-Kelly. down the running order as well. And Jones will use the outside lane to sweep around the three-time IndyCar World Champion. It is 3 wide ahead of him, though. That is Takani on the inside lane getting clear of Petrovic. Hobson far on the outside lane being passed by Glover and by Jones. Everyone dancing around further behind the order. And Hobson, despite having the running head start, already down out of the top 20. Likewise, it will be a struggle for drivers like Shufan Zhang to hold station here. Shufan Zhang, not one of the faster cars in the field, qualified this race in 18th. And you are seeing the difference in pace for those at the front of the field. Draco leads Ishibashi back up to second. Crane in third, Velisevich fourth, in the battle for fifth between Kobayashi and Michelin. Here's a battle further down the order. This is Leon taking on Cameron Jackson as they shadow the 97 of Lundqvist, who's moved up all the way into 8th. So there is a gaggle of cars, 100%, but weird circumstances has created all of that, and it's slowly working its way back into the norm. Beyond Jackson, and that is Alexander in play for a spot potentially in the top 10. Right now, Cameron Jackson has that spot in 9th, Alexander 10th, Leon in 11th over Kozlov, 3 wide behind Kozlov there. That is Takani on the outside lane, Lecty in the middle, Porter-Kelly to the inside ahead of Wyatt Jones. And it looks like we have slowly emerged from the danger zone as Velisevich passes Astor Crane for third. Ishibashi shadowing the 13 of Andrew Draco. At the front of the field, Draco and Ishibashi, the 2 race leaders in this event so far. Ishibashi closing in on the 2-time world champion. Ishibashi in points, 115 points away from the championship lead. If things hold station, this would help out Ishibashi's case a lot with 3 races to go after today. Draco looking for his 2nd race win of the season after winning on the streets of Chicago earlier this year. Be the first person to win on both the streets of Chicago and Chicagoland Speedway. If he can make that happen, right now he's got a pretty decent shot at it. As they come across start lap number 18. Top 4 on an island. Kobayashi and Michelin on their own little island as well. 5th and 6th. Lundqvist up to 7th. Alexander in 8th. Takani 9th. So 2 of the Arrowhead cars left standing in this event. Currently trying to make their route forward, as is the 3-time world champion Steffi Porter-Kelly, who did not have a great race last time out. Looking to make something happen of it. Gaggle of cars further behind. This includes Wyatt Jones, Cameron Jackson, Shufan Zhang. There's the lap down car of Evangeline Porter in the mix. She's got a long race to try to get that lap back and get back in contention, but the 81 car looked quick all weekend long up to this point. One of the fastest cars. Now just mired in traffic. So you see all the cars really juggling back and forth. Porter trying to find her way around both Captain Hart and BK Glover as a lap down machine. Esther Hofson down in the 23rd position with Anastasia Sponsonen in 24th. They've almost lost the draft at this point. Somber reminder of what's at stake at the other end of the field, with the relegation looming in the distance. Challenger Series race last night, for those that missed it here on ABN, saw Rich Koivunieemi officially crowned champion of the Challenger Series, IndyCar national champion, for the first time since 1999 we have one. Koivunieemi coming out on top of that. Koivunieemi almost certainly bound to be in the World Series with Arrowhead Racing in 2025. We're getting around Jackson on the inside lane. Still struggling to find a way around the other Texan, BK Glover. Again, this pack is well outside the top 10. This cluster inside the top 10 and around it, as they have caught up to Kobayashi and to Michelin. So this group could have a chance to challenge for the race lead later on in this race as laps tick away. We're on lap 24. All three of the Striker Motorsports cars in this group, with Michelin, Alexander, and Porter Kelly all in play. Porter Kelly and Alexander, the two white and blue cars. Alexander, center of your screen, the 11, that Geico machine, right now attached to the gearbox of Siri Lundqvist. Porter Kelly a little bit further back behind the NOS Energy number 95, the Takani. Side by side out of 4. We are an 1/8 of the way through this race. Draco has led 19 of the first 25. Ishibashi led the other 6. Getting the slip away from the 7 of Lisevich and the 80 of Crane. Pace picking up here for this group as Kobayashi tries to stay in range and in contact. He has not been in this position very often since his race win in Melbourne earlier this year. Race 3 of the season, all the way back in March. It's been a long road for Vontair Racing as a whole. And Petrovich trying everything that he can to hold on to it. Up basically near the wall is Takani, seeing if that's going to work out like it did last night. It looks like the answer to that question is no. Not as much grip up there today. And that's expected. A lot more intensity, a lot more heat on the racetrack today in the sunshine than what there was last night. Seems like it works a lot better in 1 and 2 than it does in 3 and 4. Kobayashi being now put in the middle as the the Arrowhead drivers work on the outside lane, and 2 former world champions on the inside lane, with Porter Kelly leading Lecty. And just like that, Kobayashi knocked out of the top 10. And now the pursuit will move on to trying to get to the top 4, which is spaced out. Ishibashi just sort of shadowing Draco from a distance. A little bit quicker that last time around by about half a tenth. Hazel Leon from 26th on the starting grid all the way up already into position number 5. The PureTech number 32 has had a lot of bad luck. One of the largest free agents on the market right now has still not determined a landing spot for 2025. Does she stay in this 32 machine with Kent Racing? Does she move to Arrowhead Racing? Does she move to Highlight Racing? A lot of pretty big time vacancies needing to be filled, waiting to see where Leon lands for the driver's market. Leon right now in 5th, having worked her way forward. Alexander in 6th, Takani in 7th, Porter Kelly in 8th, Lundqvist in 9th. You see this battle for 10th. Kobayashi trying to get back into top 10 and work around Nicole Lechty and Matthias Michelin. Here's another group trying to be a danger. Glover, Zhang, Jones, Kozlov and company. As things sit, the World Championship would change hands with 3 races to go. It'd be in the favor of Wyatt Jones, with Porter, eventually Porter being a lap down here. Glover, though, he would love to keep the 25 behind him and start getting some of these positions, and that's exactly what they're looking at right now. Glover in 13th. He's looking at 12th place Michelin. He's faster by several tenths faster. Really, at this point, they have got the draft. We also know how good Wyatt Jones is here at Chicagoland 2. His second time in Champ Car Machinery. He's been here over 12 times for the AT&T Cup Series. Very used to this 1.5 mile oval in Joliet. Field is spreading out. Tires are wearing. Tire wear got a little bit more severe with the temperature of the track. Tire heat, tire wear going to be a little bit higher than what we saw last night as well in the Challenger Series. Crane has gotten right back up to Velicevic here for 3rd. Ishibashi still just shadowing the 13 of Draco right now. Simon Leroux, though, struggling in that 77 for Highlight Racing. Something amiss, something being reported as an engine misfire, a plenum fire in the 77, meaning the turbo right now struggling to open and close for that Chevrolet engine. Not what you want to hear, because that basically means that you're not getting turbo boost. All these cars that we have, a lot of different engine formulas, inline 4s, V6s, V8s. All of them have turbochargers. You want the turbo valve, the air gate on the turbo. You want it to open and close. You want it to be able to moderate and build boost pressure. Turbochargers, they force air through the engine. If it's wide open, it's not building pressure. And that is a significant amount of where all of the power comes from, especially on an oval. If that turbo valve, if that air valve is left open, you go from having basically 550 horsepower here on the ovals down to about 475. And that is a kick in the teeth. If you're someone like Leroux, you have a Chevrolet engine, which is notoriously the engine with the most power when everything's working. Instead, it is a Ford 1, 2, and Honda in 3rd, having gotten around The third Ford in the group, Astor Crane, the leading Honda, fighting to stay in the World Series in 2025, was in the relegation zone. And right now, Crane putting on an amazing fight for a potential podium. Leon in 5th, Takani and Lundqvist 6th and 7th. The Airhead Racing duo being formidable with the lack of Kovalkiewicz, who did not start this race due to an electrical issue. So it's Arrowhead versus Stryker at this point. That is Porter Kelly and Alexander side by side. They're all in the top 10 as well. Wyatt Jones has made his way into the top 10 with help from none other than Evangeline Porter, his longtime championship adversary this season. These two cars are virtually identical. Both of them prepared by Atomic Autosport. Bloodwork Motorsports Wyatt Jones team working in alliance with Atomic Autosport. Atomic Autosport helps build these cars and prepare them for the races. Bloodwork Motorsports, they fund the parts, they have the pit crews, and they manage the race operations for the 25 car. Pretty symbiotic relationship. These two have been battling for the championship all season long, ever since Wyatt Jones win at the Indy 500 back in May. Now how you want to see this championship sort of play out, with Porter a lap down due to an issue of some kind. We have still not received word from the 81 camp as far as what happened to force the 81 to come down pit lane at the start. But it really kneecapped the entire front row. Porter, the only car a lap down, but with pretty significant pace. Just outside the top 10, Nicole Lechty sitting in 11th ahead of BK Glover. Lechty needs to be ahead of Wyatt Jones, really. It's a small gap. It was a small gap going in. 2 points was the gap between Porter and Jones going into this race. Issue is that Lechty, I believe, that Chevrolet car, not having a great time with the tire wear on that right rear. Having to tiptoe a little bit more. And you're seeing that. Glover being able to dance around the racetrack, going from middle to bottom. Lechty just can't do that. Michelin in 13th. Sitting at the end of the top half of the field, Shufan Zhang, Artyom Kozlov. That's your top 15. Kobayashi has dropped now out of the top 15 and out of 16th here in this battle with Catherine Hart. Mia Valdez in 18th at the moment, ahead of Thomas Rogers, Cameron Jackson, Marcus Petrovich, and Anastasius von Sonnen, 20th, 21st, and 22nd. Esther Hobson, 23rd. LaRoe in 24th. And there you see a swap of position as Ishibashi has taken over the race lead once again. Tire wear beginning to be a factor here. Remember, this is an age surface, not unlike what we saw with the Challenger Series at Kansas. With these tracks opened in 2001, they have not been repaved since. So it is bumpy, it is abrasive. Ishibashi now has to try to find a way around the 77 of LaRoe, who is trying to stay on the lead lap here. That's going to be very hard fought. Ishibashi with the power on the straightaway. to just drive her way around. LaRue will fight back on the outside lane. I guess the only major positive there for LaRue is that not going at full speed, LaRue has a little bit more tire to burn. She's not been doing as much strain on those tires as the race leaders have been running at speed for the past 51 laps. And with the assistance of LaRue, Draco's gotten back to the front of the field. Keep an eye on the 80 of Asher Crane, pulling herself into this front-running mix. Crane's gotten right to the gearbox of Ishibashi, looking for the second spot. Tire wear becoming a premium right now, and you're seeing them having to sort of walk around on eggshells. Crane goes to the bottom of the racetrack, puts Ishibashi in the middle. Lap car LaRue to the far outside lane. They're all going to drive around the 77 here. Ishibashi now in the middle lane to keep the 77 behind. And LaRue's fight short-lived. All the top four have made their way around. There's Leon in fifth, closing in as well with the Arrowhead cars. And here you see Porter Kelly and Wyatt Jones together. That's Porter, again, trying to make her way back, trying to race her way effectively back on the lead lap. Is what's going on here with the 81. She's got the pace to do it. It's just going to be a very long race to make that happen. Pit stops will come here in about 10 laps for the first time. This should be a 3-stop race. Wyatt Jones with a small mistake there at a 2, and it's going to allow Nicole Lechty to have a chance to swoop in and take a top 10 spot. That's exactly what she does. But with Evangeline Porter right now, a lap down at the moment. Just one of 2 cars a lap down, the other car being LaRue. Porter's got to really wait for these pit stops to really kick in. Just split the field up a little bit. I feel like she's going to be able to do a little bit more damage once this field really splits up with these pit stops and just sort of leapfrogging through the field. Right now it goes from a 2-point advantage for Porter to Wyatt Jones by 27 as things sit. That's the points swing right now in play. Leon's cut up to the lap car of LaRue. And you see it down the back straightaway. As for Crane, likewise, he's gotten around the 33 of Ishibashi. Crane eyes on the prize, looking at the race leader potentially of Andrew Draco. And that is not something we would have said earlier this year, or really much of this year at all for Crane. The 80 team just trying to stay afloat in the World Series as a single car operation. Similar to Indianapolis, really, with Crane earlier this year, the 80 car punched above its weight class a little bit on these ovals, and you're seeing that. And it's no strange phenomenon that it's the tracks where tire wear is so important to manage, that the 80 crew is really kind of shining at this point in time. Crane trying to close in on Draco about a 1/10.5 faster than the race leader last time around. Draco's led 47 of the first 60 laps today. Excuse me, the 48 of the last 60. Crane trying to get to the race lead. In the slipstream now firmly. The two-time world champion. Still in the 30.3s, 30.7 for Draco. 2/10 the swing this time. And Esther Hofson about to become another car that goes a lap down here. I believe LaRoe has come down pit lane. And indeed she has. In case anyone was wondering, pit stops are open here. Race leader stays out, as does the rest of the top four. And so the pit stops begin here at Chicagoland for the first time today. Some more cars coming down. That is Hofson. Several others coming down pit lane. Draco continues to lead over Crane, but that gap continues to shrink. It's been 2/10 a lap, every lap, consistently. And Crane has a pretty decent amount of momentum now built up in that 80 car. Now, do you pit with the race leader or not? Yes, you do. 100% you do, and that's exactly what happens there. It puts Ishibashi back out front, though. She stays out, same with Felicevich. Very busy pit lane otherwise, though. Cameron Jackson on fresh tires. Getting around Leon. You can see the pace difference that's going on here. Cars are ready to come down pit lane, it looks like. Whoa, trouble. That's a car in the fence. That is Felicevich in the fence. As Ishibashi came down pit lane. That was rough. The Draco leaves pit lane with Crane. Jones leaves pit lane behind Alexander. A lot of cars that came down pit lane ahead of Wyatt Jones. Takani, Glover up ahead of Wyatt Jones now. Shufan Chang, Michelin ahead of Wyatt Jones now as well. They stayed out too long. Felicevich coming down pit lane. No. Still not coming down pit lane. Still leading this race. Draco will end up being the race leader when everyone comes down pit lane, it looks like. Crane in second. Trying to keep touch. Felicevich does come down pit lane this time. Lundqvist will move up to third with how things are looking. And then Takani in fourth. Ishibashi fifth. Glover sixth. Shufan Zhang will end up being seventh. Michelin eighth. Wyatt Jones barely in the top 10 and ninth ahead of Leon and Alexander. And as we imagined it, field spread out a lot more after that first round of pit stops. Especially leaving pit lane now. And if they're happening to get damage repaired on that number 7 car, we'll go a lap down. So that is both the Atomic Autosport cars off the lead lap. Lundqvist up to 3rd. Connie 4th. Let's see the pace intensifying here. Everyone on fresh Firestone tires. Right now, it definitely looks like Wyatt Jones definitely sitting with a short run car and not a long run car at the moment in that number 25 machine. This car seems to have a lot of pace on these fresh tires. It just seems to fall a little bit harder on the older tires as we go along in this run. We'll keep an eye on it. Leon getting around 77 of Leroux. Not for position. Ishibashi back up to 4th, having gotten around Takani and Glover. Glover up to 5th. Takani still having a decent run right now in 6th. As things sit, Leon 7th, Michelin 8th, Wyatt Jones in the 9th spot. And you see that Leroux still having that issue with the turbo boost, getting just left behind on the straightaways. Side by side this battle for 8th, Michelin in 8th, Wyatt Jones in 9th. Again, Wyatt Jones a little bit stronger on these fresher tires. We'll see how that plays out over the course of the rest of the run. Draco really trying to just keep Asher Crane at bay. This is a battle with cars a lap down that is both Felicevich and Esther Hofson a lap down. 4 cars a lap down now. Hofson, Felicevich, Leroux, and Porter. All 25 cars that took the start are running. Alicia Kovalkiewicz, the pole sitter, did not take the start. Crane working around Hofson. During turns 3 and 4. Hofson trying to make life a little bit more difficult for Crane. Allowing Draco to pull away a little bit. Crane's got the speed to be there. We know that. It's whether or not there's a reliability to stay there, which is, I think, the ultimate question that we'll find out over the course of the rest of this race. Battle for 3rd on your screen, Lundqvist and Ishibashi. Speaking of cars that have been in that relegation fight, 97, one of those cars. Going into this race, obviously you saw Ishibashi pass Lundqvist there for third. Going into this race, the 97 had 315 points going in. Ahead of the 20 car, which had 299 points, and the 80. The 80 was the first car in relegation danger going in with 290 points. Shufan Zhang right now in 12th, not doing enough to stay ahead of the relegation fight. A podium for Crane would be very detrimental for the 20. Petrovic in 21st, in no man's land. Same with the 76 of Von Sonnen in 20th. And Hofston, we know, already out of that 28 car at the end of the season. It's a matter of if that 28 car is even going to be in the World Series at all. And right now the answer to that question is no. Sitting 26 by a decent margin. Hofston making it difficult for Crane earlier, not for herself, but to try to help out Shufan Zhang in the 20 car a little bit, points-wise. A race win for the 80 would be a huge flip at the bottom of the table. And you see the car just up ahead. That is Petrovic in the Micro Center 21. Crane as well and fully lost touch with Draco. Draco just having the drafting help here of Vulicevic, who's got race running pace after just tagging the wall on her last pit stop. The question is, as Draco begins to battle with these cars, how much of this tire is going to wear and allow Crane back in the fight? Petrovic trying to stay on the lead lap. Vulicevic trying to race back on lead lap. And now they both are on lead lap here. Crane faster by half a second that last lap. It's laps like that that allow Crane to have a chance to come back into this. So on lap 87 here at Chicagoland, Sakura Ishibashi in third is pulled away from Lundqvist. They have a huge battle for the top five, which right now has gotten Glover, Leon, Michelin, Wyatt Jones, and Elise Alexander in it. I think Takani a little bit further back for Airhead Racing. Yep, there's Takani, and then there's Portichelli in 11th. Shufan Zhang on an island in 12th. There's the former championship leader, Evangeline Porter. We say former. Without things changing, she won't be championship leader after today. It'll be in the hands of Wyatt Jones or BK Glover at minimum. Catherine Hart up to 14th, ahead of Lechty, ahead of Kobayashi and Rogers. Kozlov struggling in 18th. Did not qualify well. Qualified 22nd. Right now sitting in 18th, so up 4 spots. Vulicevic got ahead of Petrovic and walked away. But you see the fighting that Draco had to do has pulled Crane back within touching distance within a second. I think Crane has a chance to do something magical today. If she can get it all lined up correctly in that number 80 machine. could be a magical day. Working on the 21 of Petrovich, who is not going to fight too awful hard on this one. Allowed the 80 to stay clear. Did not have this sort of vibe with the 13 crew. Doing Crane a solid on that one as they cut across to start lap 93. A little bit of a slowdown there for Crane, just navigating that traffic like normal. But not nearly the fight that Draco had to deal with earlier. That's a huge deal. Draco trying to keep in contact with Velicevic. More lap traffic is on the way. That's Jackson and Von Sonen. Very curious to see how this race plays out across the next two pit stops in this event. Next pit stop's about lap 130. So we're only about halfway through this first running, or first half of the second stanza. We have one pit stop about lap 90, about lap 63 to lap 65 is when the first round of pit stops took place. So realistically about lap 128 to lap 130 for the second round of pit stops. Halfway through on the second stint of tires. Lap traffic awaits the race leader, Andrew Draco, center of your screen. Asher Crane not far away, staying about a second away from the 13. Draco will struggle to get around all this lap traffic. That's Von Sonen up next. This is where things sort of balance out if you're someone like Evangeline Porter right now, who has been stuck a lap down since lap 1. The more cars that go a lap down, the more positions you get to make up. You start losing focus of trying to just get a lap back and start hoping that your other Ford drivers at this point can just lap more cars, give you a chance to fight those positions back. And that's what you're seeing right now from Draco, is he's putting more of these cars a lap down. They'll eventually get to Porter, who has had decent pace all race today. Should be able to lap them and gain points to minimize the damage that she's going to lose to Wyatt Jones. Wyatt Jones right now in the 6th spot. It's a very tight fight up here in this battle for the top 6. At least Alexander's walked away with 5th as things stand right now. Wyatt Jones in 6th, trying to fight ahead of Michelin. That's Leon, there's Takani, there's Porter Kelly in this mix as well, the 60. It's a huge fight there, from really basically from 5th to 10th, all the way there. Kobayashi now down in 25th, last car running, 2 laps down after having to make another pit stop, emergency pit stop for Kobayashi. Kobayashi on faster tires though, will try to race his way back around. Ooh, almost contact between teammates there. But you see Kobayashi on fresher tires and you see the pace difference there. But he's now firmly off sequence with still 2 pit stops to go. He will not be in contention any longer. Draco's gotten around both Jackson and Von Sonen. That's a huge deal, being able to get around both of them. Kobayashi works his way around Crane. Crane really struggling to keep touch with the 13 car now. Kobayashi just slicing and dicing through the traffic to try to get one of those laps back. Wyatt Jones is taking control of the top 5 in 5th right now, ahead of Hazel Leon. They both got around Elise Alexander. Fords are having a pretty big party day. 3 of the top 5 are all Ford power. 1st, 3rd, and 5th right now. Crossed over the halfway point here in Chicagoland. Here comes the battle for 2nd place between Ishibashi and Crane, as they have been walked away from by Draco here. Lap traffic becoming the Achilles heel for those wanting to be in that race leading fight. Von Sonnen being especially harsh right now to Crane. The 36 is in that relegation fight at the moment. 25th, almost assuredly out with 4 races to go and not being able to make up any points on the 80, the 20, or the 97. For now, filling a lap down to the top 3. Draco once again dealing with Leroux, who's about to go a 2nd lap down. 18 cars right now on the lead lap. The Listwich last car on the lead lap as things sit. Here's the battle for 4th. Behind the lap car of Petrovic, it's Leon, Jones, and Lundqvist in this fight at the moment. And Leon's going to waltz around the outside lane. And now Lundqvist goes to the outside lane to try to do the same. And will do so. As Alexander in the 7th spot as well, staying close. Not so close. Michelin, Porter Kelly. Connie, there's Porter. Porter, that's the most disappointing part about Porter is that she's got a long run car. The 81 is a long run car. Just can go nowhere. And that is heartbreaking. Michelin coming down pit lane. Earlier pit stop there for Michelin. About 20 laps earlier to the 99. Watching Porter just try to navigate some of this traffic going on right now. More cars coming in. That's Von Sonnen coming down pit lane. So some cars coming in early, and that's the leaders coming in. That's Draco and Crane. They both came in early. That's wild. Ishibashi now once again the race leader. Leon up to second. Wyatt Jones came down pit lane, so he took the undercut here. Very smart call for the 25 camp, I believe, in that circumstance. Try to pit with the race leaders, so they were onto something there. Lundqvist stays out. .45-mile-an-hour speed limit on pit lane. Wyatt Jones leaves pit lane now as well. More cars in. It is not the 97 though that has come down pit lane until now. Now Lundqvist is in. Porter Kelly will now take over the lead of the race. So new race leader, Stephanie Porter Kelly. Draco will unlap himself here. Not a huge question on that one. I believe Porter Kelly will be coming in next time by. There's Crane, who's also going to try to unlap herself here. As well as Michelin, which right now appears to be third place. Once all is said and done. Very tedious exit onto the back straightaway here. Porter Kelly still up on the racetrack at the moment. Michelin unlaps himself. Von Sonnen and Ishibashi and Jones next in line there. Not much of a contest. Porter Kelly stays out once more. Leon got held up there a little bit, trying to get around Porter Kelly. Portichelli just going to stretch this one out a little bit. Enjoy being in the race lead as much as possible. Speed difference, though, is insane. And here comes Portichelli down pit lane now. I believe Artyom Kozlov's next in line. Come down pit lane. And down pit lane, here she comes. 3 car coming down pit lane. Kozlov, they've done a great job just sort of navigating the traffic, trying to get through. But unfortunately, they just don't have the pace at the moment today. Did not qualify well, qualified 22nd. They've had a long run since then, sitting no higher than 18th. Now what this does is this moves the race lead back over into the hands of none other than Andrew Draco. Draco now leads. Lap traffic ahead, including Draco's teammate, Catherine Hart. 18th last car on the lead lap, and that's about to change. And I do want to take a moment to point something out here. So Michelin in third, about to get passed for third by Wyatt Jones. See how this plays out. Milicevic had made her way all the way up to the 6th spot before making that pit stop. Now Milicevic will end up going firmly a lap down. But Milicevic had slowly just crawling more and more of the gap back in as things sort of went under the radar for them. This is a battle for the podium. Von Sonnen in the middle of this fight, not part of the podium conversation, but probably just trying to avoid being too awful hard in anyone's way here in this fight when you're talking about the championship conversation. This is going to be quite the cluster pretty quickly. Michelin, Portichelli, Jones, Leon, and Ishibashi now all in this fight for the podium. Kobayashi down pit lane once again, off sequence. There is a planned pit stop now for the 42. But he still has another pit stop to make. If he could make it lap 140, he would have been good to go to the end. The battle for the podium. Portichelli has walked away with it here. Insane pace. Portichelli is a lap down though. So Portichelli not part of the conversation, unfortunately. We had missed that at that point, that Portichelli had slipped down a little bit. Oh, the reason why is because Portichelli stayed out so long. That actually makes a lot of sense. Portichelli stayed out so long on that last stint, went a lap down. Now has the faster car unlapping herself here. No, we're tracking that now. It makes a lot more sense. Draco still leads, and it's a healthy margin, about 5 seconds to Astrid Crane, and then about 10 seconds almost all the way to Leon, Michelin, Ishibashi, and Wyatt Jones. Wyatt Jones went from 3rd to 6th. Advancing Porter's up to the 18th spot, having gotten around Jackson, Petrovic, and Kozlov here. Kobayashi 3 laps down, Leroux and Bulisevic 2 laps down as things sit. Realistically, if Porter can get herself back up and potentially into the top 15, as long as Wyatt Jones does not get any higher than 5th, it's a way reasonable fight with 3 races to go. Remember, we've got 3 races left, 2 ovals, 1 road course. The ovals of Atlanta and Fontana, and the Indianapolis road course, final road course race of the season. We've seen Wyatt Jones be the aggressor, the one in pursuit for most of this season, trying to get to the points lead. We've not seen Wyatt Jones as the defender. Last 3 races, as things sit, he will need to be the defender. And that is very difficult to do. It's seeming more and more likely that this little pocket is what's going to be battling for the rest of the podium spaces here, with Crane and Draco so far ahead. It just seems pretty hard to fathom at this point what could be done to close in that gap. Draco has led over 115 laps in this race so far to the first 140. It has been domination for the Phantom Motors driver. A season that has been up and down for the 13 team, and really for Phantom Motors as a whole. Obviously, both the Phantom Motors cars, Catherine Hart and Andrew Draco, race wins. Catherine Hart winning at Nazareth, Draco winning the streets of Chicago back in June. Results otherwise have been pretty hard to come by. Looking at 60 laps to go and counting. Draco showing that there's still signs of life here. Car in pit lane, still in pit lane, it's Takani. And that is not a simple stop for the 95. One would have to wonder if it's the same electrical issue that was present at the start on Kovalkevich's car. We'll find out. There's Evangeline Porter now back on the lead lap and working her way through the tail end of the lead lap field. Sorry, Porter Kelly not on the lead lap just yet. That's Andrew Draco just ahead of her. But that's how far Andrew Draco has gotten now. He's lapped all the way up to the 12th, to the 11th spot, really. Catherine Hart right ahead, staying on the lead lap here. Porter Kelly, fresher tires. Draco tried to shut the door, and Porter Kelly said, nah, don't think so. Those two have fought way too much over the last decade for that to work now. Of course, this is a losing game for Porter Kelly. She's got to make a pit stop with everyone else. The only saving grace would be if a caution comes out before she makes that last pit stop, because she will stay out longer. Draco's now led 120 laps here in Chicagoland for the Firestone 300. And Takani is out, and it is an electrical issue. So the same issue that took place on Kovalkevich's car at the start has stricken another Arrowhead car. Takani out, the first retirement of this race officially on lap 146. Kovalkevich did not start. We've had no cautions in this race today either. A far cry from what we saw last night. There's this huge gaggle of cars here. And all of them a lap down, except for Valdez. Valdez and Lecty, 9th and 10th, they are on lead lap. Porter Kelly in 11th now, and then Catherine Hart in 12th. Andrew Draco kind of just cruising at the moment, 5 seconds ahead of Crane. Jones and company aren't catching up either. They're still 10 seconds drift right now. Leon and Jones, 3rd and 4th right now. They've pulled away as the remainder of the group is dealing with lap traffic. And a lot of it. There's Porter in 18th. Glover in 17th. You got Bonsona in 16th here. All of them are going to be together and battling for positions. Kozlov 15th, going to be a battle for position. All that's going to be critical. Every point at this point in the season matters so much. Cruising through the field, seeing where everyone's at. Petrovich ahead of Kobayashi. Kobayashi just trying to work through the field here. Vulisevich in 19th. Row 23rd. Lundqvist in 8th. You'd imagine 8th place would be safety, but with the issues going on with the rest of the team, that Arrowhead racing car does not seem safe at all. Porter trying to keep touch with Glover and Von Sonem. Again, for Porter, it's just a matter of try to get as close to the top 10 as possible. Minimize the damage. Because ideally, realistically, you're looking at Wyatt Jones on the podium. Wyatt Jones right now in 3rd. He's really only got competition from Leon. He's not closing in right now on Crane. He's sort of on an island at the moment, and he's certainly not closing in right now on Draco. Realistically, you're looking at Wyatt Jones no worse right now than 5th. So your objective is just get as close to the top 10. If he finishes in 5th and you're finishing in 10th per se, let's say that Draco does manage to lap all the way up to the top 10. Okay, you've gone from losing about 30 points to losing less than 10. Realistically, this is going to be about a 15, 20 point swing as things sit, which is manageable. You got a road course race coming up, a road course that Wyatt Jones has never raced at with the Indianapolis road course. And then you've got two wide open races that we know that 81 car is strong at with Atlanta and Fontana. It's just a matter of actually getting there. Porter up to the 16th spot. So, pretty important deal. Every position back there. She tries to claw closer and closer to the top, at least to the top 15, if she can get around Kozlov. If she can get to 15th, if Wyatt Jones stays in third, it's a 20-point swing. It'd be an 18-point difference going into the next race. Leon really fighting Jones, though, for that third spot. There's Crane. Quarter track ahead at this point. And Draco starting lap 158. Catherine Hart ahead. He's just managing the gap at this point. Just managing the gap. It's a car that had to have come down pit lane, I do believe, and it is Lundqvist that came down pit lane for the final stop. And I like the play from Lundqvist. Come down early. Spend more time on fresher tires. You know you've got about 45 laps to go. Don't wait for the tires to completely fall away from you. Just go ahead and come on down pit lane and get some fresh boots on. That's exactly what Lundqvist has done. And there she is. Dropped down the 19th for the moment. Lost a lap. Almost lost two, but thankfully not the case. Stay ahead of Draco and we'll pull away. And this should help Lundqvist, to my understanding, at least get a little bit closer to the top 5. Fly by there on Catherine Hart. We'll try to do the same thing to Cameron Jackson. Jackson driving really defensively for what I can gather, no particular reason. Not on the same strategy. Far outside lane. Whoa, that was almost really bad. Holy cow, that was between Lundqvist and Valdez will have to come down pit lane for it. Valdez just came up the hill right in front of the 97. Lundqvist committed, couldn't go anywhere. Valdez just unsighted. Seems like Lundqvist got away with it though. That was scary. More cars down pit lane. That is Valdez this time on pit lane. Porter battling with Glover. This is for position. This is for 15th. Michelin comes down pit lane. Less than 40 laps to go. When do they blink? Caution's out! Caution's out! Caution's out! The caution has come out, and it's Porter-Kelly. Oh my God. What happened to Stephanie Porter-Kelly? Oh, was it Lundqvist? This is the lap before. This is the lap Porter-Kelly's incident took place. Is it at the hands of the 97? Or is it at the hands of the 34? Oh, this is going to be bad. Oh, 100% on the 97. Porter-Kelly sent up straight to the outside wall. Oh my goodness. And that changes a lot. That changes a lot. First caution of the day in the middle of the pit stop cycle. Who's going to be where? Is the very interesting question here. We believe Sakura Ishibashi is the race leader, but I don't have anything to verify that at this point. Who is where on the racetrack? Porter-Kelly's race is over. Second retirement of the race. Who is where in all of this? A bunch of cars have to come down pit lane here. They did not take service. Is it in the hands of Mia Valdez? Valdez is a lap down, so it's not Valdez. Is it Michelin on lead lap here? Trying to figure out who's where. It actually still might be in the hands of Draco. I don't think the leaders had come down pit lane just yet on that. This is wild. I'm waiting for the leaderboard to update here. I believe Draco's still going to be in the race lead. Indeed, Draco's still in the race lead. Crane's still second. Leon in third. Draco fourth. Alexander fifth. Ishibashi sixth. Letty seventh. Catherine Hart eighth. Artyom Kozlov ninth. Thomas Rogers 10th. So everyone that was on the lead lap, largely still on the lead lap. Okay. So the large overall scheme of things hadn't changed. Hadn't had a chance to change yet. But with less than 35 laps to go, this is going to be a little bit more intense, getting everyone back together. 23 cars will end up being back together, all of them fighting for something different. And the Firestone 300 flipped on its head. First caution of the day after 165 laps. An incident between Siri Lundqvist and Stephanie Porter-Kelly has seen the three-time champion knocked out of this race. She'll join Joliet Takani and Alicia Kovalkiewicz as those officially out of this event. 23 cars still running. 10 of them on the lead lap. And this is where things can get either very magnificent or very ugly. Green flag flies. Here we go. Draco's got to be careful. He moved before the start-finish line. Oh, I don't like the look of that. Race control. We've seen race control so many times this season. You cannot move that early. And yeah, black flag. Pulling out of line. He pulled out of line before start-finish line. That's a penalty. That's a penalty for car 13. After leading almost 150 laps. Too overzealous to make a move on the initial restart there. And he is out of the race lead. Just overzealous, trying to get around LaRoe. And now it's in the hands of Hazel Leon, who's gotten around Asher Crane. Used the chaos to get around the 80. Roadblock up ahead. Oh, this is going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out. Two wide going through. Keep an eye on the 11 of Alexander outside of Jones. Jones goes to the yellow line, or sorry, to the white line. Right now, Leon being left unchecked. Michelin being arguably a horrible back marker at this point. Wyatt Jones knocked off the podium. Frantic at the front. 27 laps to go. Ooh, really close contact there between the 11 and the 80. Alexander looking for her first career race win if she can do it. It is pandemonium and chaos here at the front of the field. 6 cars under a blanket, only 4 of them battling for a race win. Inside lane, you see the 2 race leaders there. That is Leon and Crane. 3 wide. Bad place to be. Alexander in the right spot though, up to second. Ishibashi, that Kodak 33, trying to make her way forward too. And it is pandemonium the further back you go. This is Crane, middle, 3 wide. Remember, Kozlov struggled to get onto the lead lap. Struggled to stay on the lead lap, really. Was really struggling in this race. Stayed out, and it paid dividends. Now fighting for the top 5. Jones got clear of both Ishibashi and Crane. But it seems like a battle for podium at this point. Leon is gone. Hazel Leon leads the way. Using lap traffic. Part of that, her teammate Mia Valdez, to establish separation between herself and Elise Alexander. Wyatt Jones trying to scratch and claw his way up through the field. But he's got an even bigger dogfight ahead. Alexander in second, Jones third, Ishibashi up to 4th. 5th place now in the hands of Kozlov, Crane in 6th. Catherine Hart's in this mix, so is Nicole Lecty. Vansley Porter's up to 11th. Vansley Porter is behind Catherine Hart right now in this group. Could still make it into the top 10. Wyatt Jones trying to chase down Alexander. They're all getting around Valdez now. Valdez did not take tires on that pit stop. Older tires in the 34 and the 99. There goes the 3 of Kozlov. That is 5th place right now. And it is still pandemonium further back you go. Look at this gaggle of cars. It is a mess right now. Crane just swimming on the deep end at the moment. Lefty goes up to the wall. Very far in the outside lane. To get around Crane, to get around Porter, try to get around Valdez. Now goes to the inside lane. Traversing every inch of the racetrack, trying to find real estate. Here comes this rivalry here between the 33 and the 3, between Ishibashi and Kozlov. Kozlov up to 4th. And there's Thomas Rogers trying to get to the top 5 too. Going from rags to riches for Team Impulse today. They had nothing for this race. And now they've got 2 cars in the top 5. Wyatt Jones looking at 2nd place, right ahead of him, looking at the gearbox Alexander. Alexander just not able to keep touch with Leon with 18 laps to go. Michelin trying to stay in 10th place, knowing that Porter's right here in this group. Porter's still 11th and not really being contested super heavily. Shufenjang in 12th, someone to keep an eye on. Same with the 7 of Vilicevic. So there is about to be a contest for 11th. Far outside lane there for Porter. Porter using as much of the racetrack as possible to build momentum. I don't even think Porter's worried about 10th right now. I think you're looking at the 20 and the 7. You're looking at your teammate at the moment. You're looking at Shufenjang, who's got basically a whole bunch of uncertainty at just trying to figure out what kind of ride she's looking at for 2025. Is she going to be in the World Series? Is she not going to be in the World Series? What does it all look like? Porter right now trapped behind the 34 of Valdez. And you see Michelin catching up to Wyatt Jones. Wyatt Jones has lost touch of Alexander. Alexander's turned on the jets here with exactly 15 laps to go. Sorry, 14 laps to go now. A chance to emerge as a race winner for Alexander. He's got to take on right now one of the most prized free agents in the market with Hazel Leon. Laps tick away. These two pulling away from Wyatt Jones, but Wyatt Jones seemingly more comfortably in 3rd as these laps wind down. Wyatt Jones, though, the fastest of the 3 that last time around. Not by much, but enough. Not over yet. We know that. 11 laps to go at the line. And for Andrew Draco, what kind of gut punch, knowing that you led 141 laps today, and it was only good enough right now for 12th. That's where he's at right now, just 12th spot. That is a horrendous gut punch. Porter has walked away and cleared away from Mia Valdez, which was very needed for Porter. Now on the tail end of Thomas Rogers, it's not going to be enough, I think, at this point to catch up to the 99 of Michelin. But it's enough if you can hope that Wyatt Jones doesn't take second place here from Alexander. Or if you, better yet, if you want to hope that they can catch up to Wyatt Jones here. Jones turning on the jets. I think Alexander just does not have the car to fight with Leon at the moment. They fought all race long, and Leon's largely been ahead of the 11 all race. Wyatt Jones is trying to find a way around the 11. I don't know if the 11's got a whole lot of fight left in it. This is a car that's largely just kind of been in the vicinity of the battle. It's not been a focal point of the battle. And Wyatt Jones will swoop in and take second place. Wyatt Jones immediately just kind of left Alexander for dead. The question is, with 7 laps to go, does Wyatt Jones have the car in it? He's got the short run car, we know that. This would classify as a short run to the finish, less than half of a tire stint. Does he have the car in it to really go for this race lead? I think he does. I think he 100% does. Looking for race win number 3 for Wyatt Jones. Leon defended the outside lane, very smart. And forced Wyatt to sort of lift out at a turn 2. And that buys in a whole extra lap of time for Wyatt Jones. Alexander beginning to make that reemergence here. 3 cars under a blanket at the front of the field. This is the type of racing you want to see at the end of this race with 5 laps to go. All of them fighting for something special. Leon looking for her first win since returning the champ car to replace the injured Kuni Kinoshita. Alexander looking for her first win, period. Wyatt Jones looking for a 3rd win this season to solidify his chance at the championship. He's just lost second place to Alexander with 4 to go. Big time moves there for Alexander. Is it gonna be enough to close in on Leon? Coming to 3 laps to go. We're gonna find out. Wyatt Jones will take the championship lead no matter what. The question is by how many points? Down the back straightaway. Alexander trying to close in on the 32. Is there enough in that number 11? The challenge with the former world champion. 2 to go. Lap times last time through. Alexander 28.5. Leon 28.5. Glover 28.5. Sorry, Jones 28.5. Glover 28.0. He's going to be a factor in this final lap. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go, presented by PNC Bank. And it is in the hands of Hazel Leon, the New Zealander, the former world champion, 2-time Indy 500 champion. Oh, this is going to be a very close fight. All the way to the finish. All the way to the finish. Out of 3 and 4 for the final time. Alexander's close, not close enough. Hazel Leon wins the Chicagoland. She's back to victory lane. Ahead of Alexander, Wyatt Jones takes the championship lead in third. Michelin holds on to 10th, just barely. Artyom Kozlov up to fourth at the end ahead of Ishibashi. Hensley Porter in 11th, minimizing the damage. After coming down pit lane on lap 1 and slipping all the way down to last, fought all the way back up to 11th place. Nicole Lechty in 6th. Will not close the gap to the championship lead, but will gain points on some of those around her. Asher Crane, 7th place, a huge race for the 80 car to dig itself out of the championship relegation zone. And that's exactly what they did, with Shufan Jiang finishing in 14th place. As the cars come down pit lane. Catherine Hart, Thomas Rogers, your last cars on the lead lap ahead of Matthias Michelin. Porter, Draco 12th, Felicevich 13th, Shufan Jiang in 14th place. Cameron Jackson in 15th, Petrovic 16th, Von Sonnen 17th, Cyril Lundqvist in 18th place. Then Mia Valdez, Kobayashi, Hofson, Glover, Leroux, Porter Kelly, and Takani, the 25 classified finishers of this race. Kofokevich failing to start the race, Porter Kelly and Takani failing to finish here in Chicagoland. A much different race, a much better race under the daytime than what we saw last night for the Challenger Series. Leaves Chicagoland on a much brighter note for the World Series. That was an absolute barnstorming race. Leon back to victory lane, a huge run for the 32 car, the return to victory lane after such a, the way the season has been for the 32 car, to get back to victory lane has been nothing short of celebration worthy for Leon. We take a chance, we have a chance to take a week off between now and Atlanta. Atlanta, September 22nd. You're not going to want to miss that. That's going to be the Challenger Series finale weekend as well. There is racing still next weekend. The Challenger Series heads to Mexico to race at the Horizon Festival Circuit in Ensenada in Baja California. That's their last road course race of the season. We're excited to be there for all the action there in Ensenada. We'll see you in the World Series at Atlanta as the season begins to wind down more and more. Hazel Leon, your new race lead, your race winner today. Wyatt Jones, your new points leader with 3 races to go. Those are the big ticket items to talk about in the days ahead. On behalf of everyone here for ABN Studios, the AT&T Champ Car World Series, Horizon Corporation, and everyone here at Chicagoland, thank you for being part of this weekend. We'll see you next weekend in Ensenada for the Challenger Series. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you in Mexico. So long, everybody.